Hello, everyone. All right, I might kick off. Welcome, everyone, to today's webinar, which is designed to help you prepare for the Commonwealth Public Sector Gender Equality Reporting Program, which opens on the 1st of September. My name is Tori Gooding, and I'm the Executive Manager of the Gender Equality Programs team at the Workplace Gender Equality Agency, also known as WGEA. Also joining us today, we have Joanne Moore, who is the Senior Advisor, and Melita Powell, the Reporting Support Officer from the Gender Equality Programs team. We also have Lizzie and Diana from the Education team. They're keeping things running in the background, and we'll also be running a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. I'd like to start today with an acknowledgement of country. In the spirit of reconciliation, WGEA acknowledges the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their connections to the land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. So we've got quite a jam-packed agenda for you today. I will let you know that we will be recording this webinar for you to refer to at a later date. We generally put this up on our website for you to have a look at following the webinar. And those in attendance today are a mix of previous reporters and new reporters. So what we've done is we've tried to tailor the webinar to suit both cohorts. For those of you who have reported before, we may go over some info that you're already aware of. However, it will be a good reminder and will hopefully make your reporting experience easier this year. We did receive some inquiries upon registration, which we have incorporated into this webinar. We're going to be unable to answer individual inquiries today about specific reports, but we are happy to do so offline. What you can do is send us an email through to our support line, which we will talk about later, and we'll be able to help you with your inquiry. So throughout the session today, we've got a few pieces to get through. So we're going to walk you through how to use our reporting portal and how to complete your submission. And that includes both the questionnaire, the workforce management statistics file, and also the workplace profile. We're going to give you an explanation of how to complete your report, dependent on whether you report your data to the Australian Public Service Commission, also known as the APSC. We're going to outline what you must do after you lodge your report, also outline your compliance requirements, and provide some information on the industry benchmark report and gender pay gap publication. Lastly, there's going to be time for some Q&A before we finish up, but you can submit your questions in the Q&A tab at any time throughout this presentation. What we did following last year's program is we sent out a survey to reporting contacts because we really wanted to hear some feedback on how your reporting experience went. We've taken on that feedback and we've incorporated it into this year's program. And some of the key changes that we've incorporated is we've replaced the previous reporting overview with an executive summary. This will be available at the completion of your report, which will give you early insights into your results. We will now provide a dedicated service to all of you to answer inquiries in a more timely manner and also call you back when requested. We have and we continue to work with the APSC to improve the data transfer functionality. We've also ensured that any technical issues experienced have been fixed as a priority to support the reporting process this year. And we're also working on improving the information we give you as part of your industry benchmark report to enable a better understanding of the content. So, as I mentioned before, we will be providing a dedicated service to you for this year's reporting program. The reporting guide is your first point of call for anything public sector related, and Melita is going to go through this in more detail later in the presentation. I do recommend when Melita goes through the steps of how to navigate it, save it to your favourites and have a read through each chapter. If you then get stuck, myself, Melita and Jo are available to provide you with support. That is before, during and after your submission. You can now email a direct public sector email for your queries, which is on the slide, which is publicsectorsupport@wgea.gov.au. Depending on how you would prefer us to respond to you, we can do so in writing to you, or you can request a call back and we'll set up a time to meet with you. So it would be really great if when you lodge your inquiry with us, if you do want to set up a meeting, if you could just let us know a bit of information about what your inquiry is about, and also some dates and times as to when would be the best time to set up a meeting with you. We are available from right now, so please reach out early if you have any inquiries. So I'll begin with an overview of the Commonwealth Public Sector Reporting Program. The Workplace Gender Equality Act requires Commonwealth public sector employers that employ 100 or more employees to submit data to the Workplace Gender Equality Agency annually. Adding Commonwealth entities and companies to the WGEA dataset was a recommendation of the Respect at Work report. We started off with a pilot in 2021. This then led to a voluntary reporting program in 2022. And last year, we had the first mandatory reporting program. We had all 116 Commonwealth public sector employers report to us while submitting their data for the 2022 year. So again, we'll open the reporting program for this year, and the reporting portal will open on the 1st of September. Those reporting will have until the 31st of October to lodge your reports. There's 3 sections that make up your report, which we're going to go in through more detail throughout this webinar. The first, we have an online questionnaire. We have a workforce management statistics file and also a workplace profile. We do have some agencies who have APS employees who already report data to the APSC's Australian Public Service Employment Database, which is also known as APSED. This is on a monthly basis and also annually via the remuneration survey. And to reduce reporting duplication, those that do report to the APSC may enable some data to be transferred automatically over to WGEA, which means that you don't have to complete as many sections of the report. And if we move to the next slide, this will give you an overview of what is provided as part of the APSC data transfer. So you can see here that if you opted into the transfer, you only complete the online questionnaire and part of the workforce management statistics. Those that are not using the APSC transfer must complete all 3 components of your report. So Jo is going to go through all 3 stages of lodging your report, and will explain which pieces of the report will need to be completed if you're not using the transfer. So those that have opted out of the transfer when you register with WGEA, or those that are ineligible, will be required to complete the whole report. If you're not sure as to whether or not your agency has opted in for the transfer or whether or not you're eligible, just get in touch with us and we'll help you to confirm. So now I'm going to pass to Melita, who's going to take you through the steps of how to prepare your report this year. Thanks, Melita.
Thanks, Laurie. So I'm Melita. I'm the reporting support officer here at the agency. So I'll be assisting with some of the inquiries that will be coming through. To start with, I'm going to go through the Commonwealth Public Sector Reporting Guide, and where to find and what information is in this. So it's your first place to go for any information or questions you have about your report. It's been designed based on the frequently asked questions that we receive. So a lot of inquiries will be answered from the information in here. We've got the link there on screen, and we're going to put this in the chat as well. Also, to navigate directly through to it, you can go through WGEA website. So as you can see here in the middle of the screen there's a screenshot of the top of our website. And listed at number 1 in the top right-hand corner, there's a yellow button with the reporting portal. If you click through to that, it'll take you through where you can see the screen below, the employer portal. And along the navigation bar, you can see the second option there, the reporting guide. So if you click through to that, that's going to take you through to the reporting guide. Along the left-hand side, you can see we actually have 2 options there. The Commonwealth Public Sector Reporting Guide is the second option. Just make sure you're not using the first option. Under Gender Equality Reporting, it relates to our private sector reporting guide, and that's going to have some different information. So just ensure you're clicking through to that correct one there. The other way to navigate through to the reporting guide, really easy. You can just go to a search engine like Google, type in WGEA reporting guide, and it's going to come up as the first option. You don't need to be logged in to the portal to access this reporting guide. So as I said, you can access straight through a search engine. And in the reporting guide, as well as information on setting up, logging in, completing your report, and remaining compliant, you're also going to find the templates there to complete the sections of your report. So I know we already have up live on the reporting guide, you have your workforce management statistics templates and your workplace profile templates, and we're expecting to have the questionnaire templates up very shortly. And so the next thing that I'm going to go through is logging on to the employer portal. So as mentioned, to head through to the reporting portal, you can access through our website. And when you click through on the home page there, it's going to take you through to a screen to either log on or register your organization. When it comes to setting up your login, you need to set up your own access. And once you log on for the first time, it'll create a contact record in our system. To create your record for your access, you must have a MyGov ID. MyGov ID is used as it's an Australian government approved digital identity authorizer, which protects users' personal information and the security data within our system. MyGov ID must then be authorized by an administrator within your organization. So internally, you might know this person as your principal authority or your RAM administrator. You can set up multiple contacts to be able to access the portal. We would absolutely recommend to have more than one contact with access set up at any one time. This ensures that throughout the year when various reports are released, that you always have a contact available to be able to log on and generate and download those reports. So if you have any issues while you're setting up your MyGov ID or any of the authorization steps, you'll need to seek support directly from either MyGov ID, your internal RAM administrator, or directly with the RAM support. Here at the agency, we're unable to resolve any issues that arise with the identity or authorization. If when logging into the portal after you've been through the authorization steps and you're within our portal screen, if you were to experience any issues, absolutely reach out to our support and we can go from there. We would absolutely recommend that you ensure that your login is working prior to September, just to ensure it's all working smooth to go. So if anything needs to be resolved, we can do before then. Even if it's worked in the past, it's worth going and checking that's also working. All right, so from September 1st, when the program's available, when you first log into the portal, you're going to see the program listed. And when you click through, before you get started on lodging your reports, you're first going to need to confirm the details for your organization and your submission. So as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner there, this is going to be the first tile that you'll see displayed on screen for your report, where you'll need to confirm your details. Any details that you need to confirm, anything that's in our records, if you need to make any changes, you'll need to reach out to us at support in order to action those changes. You can actually review those prior to the 1st of September. So I'm going to take you through what details we need to confirm and how you can find those in the portal. So to find them in the portal, you can head to the Organisation tab, which is along the same menu as where you'll find the reporting guide. And in the Organisation tab, you're going to see the legal name and ABN. So the legal name of your organisation must be correct. And also any ABNs that are within our system will need to be confirmed for your submission and will need to be used throughout your report. So it's important that those are accurate. You'll also need to confirm contact details. So this would be your CEO or agency head or department head or equivalent, and also your reporting contact. For the CEO, department head or agency head or equivalent, we need the person's actual email address or an executive assistant's email address. We can't accept the reporting contact's email for this section or a generic HR email. The CEO contact is used in cases of compliance, and it's imperative that we have the correct contact. You'll also need to nominate a primary reporting contact. We'll also need their direct contact for this account as well. You can set up multiple contacts. So those with access to the portal, I'd recommend assigning all of those as a primary reporting contact. When you're confirming the details as the first step of your report, you'll need to nominate just a single contact. So even if you've nominated a particular contact, the other contacts are still able to log into the portal, submit and make any changes to the report and go through. We just need to have a contact there so we know who to directly reach out to should we need to contact you in relation to your report. We also understand that it can be quite useful to have a generic email address, such as your diversity and inclusion or a HR email address, and you can absolutely have that in the system in addition to the reporting contacts with their direct email address. You can manage the reporting contacts as assigning roles to the contacts within the system within that organisation tab. So you can manage all of those details there. So it'd be recommended absolutely to log in prior to September 1st, ensure the login's working, and just ensure all of those details are correct. You're also going to need to confirm for your submission your industry code. So most Commonwealth public sector employers will use the code 7510, which is Central Government Administration. And this code populates when you first register the organisation, and it's related to the main business activities associated with the ABN registered. When you're confirming details as that first step of your report, you'll have an option. So there'll be the primary industry code to select, and it will give you an option to provide additional ANZIC industry codes. We would recommend only to use the primary industry code. Using additional codes will make the reporting process more complex, and they're not going to add to the value of your data. So just stick to the primary industry code. All right, and now I'm going to hand over to Joe, who's going to talk you through the steps to lodge your report.
Thank you, Melita, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to take you through some of the steps to report and also some submission steps that you need to go through to finally submit your report. So having a look at the steps to report, as Tori has mentioned, there are actually 3 sections of the report you need to complete for most of you. The questionnaire, the workforce management statistics, and the workplace profile. As you can see on the screen, the confirmed details tile, as Melita has already referred to, will be already showing in your portal when you first go in to look at your report, but the other 3 tiles won't be available at that point. Once you confirm your details, then the questionnaire tile, the workforce management statistics tile, and the workplace profile tile will appear and be ready for you to commence unless you did the data transfer for the workplace profile. So you can do each section in any particular order. You don't need to follow the order it is on screen. In fact, you can do it in any order, but for today I'm going to go through the order it is on the screen, starting in a moment on the questionnaire. So looking at how you complete your questionnaire, you do that in the reporting portal, and all public sector organisations are required to complete the questionnaire, whether you've done the APSC data transfer or not. Everybody does the online survey in the portal. The online survey questionnaire has questions around policy and strategy, your governing body composition, any actions you're taking on gender equality in your workplace, and harm prevention actions that your workplace has taken, for example. We do have a Word version of the questionnaire, which will be identical to the questionnaire in the survey in the portal, and we do encourage you to prepare that answers and data required for the survey offline on that template, and I believe it's available in the reporting guide. We also, if you reported last year, you would have had some voluntary questions in that questionnaire, and those are now mandatory questions for 2024, and they're around the term limits of the governing body and targets to address gender equality. So they're now mandatory questions. However, there is a new voluntary question on how many employees have accessed paid family and domestic violence leave. Moving on to the next slide now. You will see there, have you not done the questionnaire before? Because we know we've got a few people on today who have never reported to us before. You'll see a screenshot of how one of the pages on the questionnaire looks. It's mostly made up of questions with free text or radio buttons and tick boxes where you can answer the questions. The questionnaire information that you provide relates to the full reporting period of the calendar year 2023. So you're looking at providing information between the 1st of January 2023 and the 31st of December 2023. If, for example, your gender composition of your governing body has changed over that period, or a policy and strategy has changed, we recommend that you report your governing body composition or any policy and strategy in place as at the date, the 31st of December 2023. You can review pre-populated responses also. When you go into the questionnaire, if you reported last year, if your organisation reported last year, the answers will be pre-populated for you this year, which should save you some time, but you still have the option to change the answers and also add free text, because the free text won't be pre-populated, just the yes or no answers and the tick boxes. For further definitions and guidance on what's available in relation to the questions in the questionnaire and various information on that, please refer to the reporting guide. I'm next going to talk to you through the Workforce Management Statistics submission. The Workforce Management Statistics is basically an Excel spreadsheet which you download in the portal and upload in the portal. Again, there's an offline version in our reporting guide now, which we encourage you to use to provide your data offline prior to submitting and transferring that data, the one you upload in the portal. The spreadsheet relates to employee movements, including promotions, resignations, parental leave over the 12-month period from the 1st of January 2023 to the 31st of December 2023. Each employee in that is entered and categorised using their gender, manager and non-manager status, their employment type and a contract type where applicable. It's important to note that if you had the APSC data transfer, the questions from 1 to 4 will already be populated for you and transferred by the APSC to us. So you don't have to answer questions 1 to 4. However, you will need then to answer questions 5 to 7 and upload a workforce management statistics file just answering questions 1, 5 to 7. For those who do not do the APSC transfer, you need to complete the full Workforce Management Statistics file and complete questions 1 to 7. As mentioned, everyone needs to complete questions 5 to 7, whether you've done the APSC transfer or not. And this slide shows a screenshot of what the Workforce Management Statistic file looks like. And in the navy bar at the top, it says, please select an industry subdivision. And that's a two-digit number, which is the two-digit number that precedes your ANZIC class. So for most of you, it will be 75, and you select that from the drop-down menu. You need to select that or the actual file won't upload and you'll get an error. The questions from 5 to 7 include how many employees were on primary carers parental leave, paid or unpaid. Question 6 is on how many employees were on secondary carers parental leave, paid or unpaid. And question 7, how many employees ceased employment before returning to from parental leave to work, regardless of when the leave commenced. Again, definitions of how to answer these questions are in the explanation tab at the bottom of the Excel spreadsheet for the Workforce Management Statistics file. And we also have some explanations in our reporting guide to assist you as well. I'm now going to talk about the workplace profile and how to submit that. The workplace profile Excel spreadsheet is designed to collect your workforce composition, salaries and remuneration details. Mandatory data reported through the workplace profile has been transferred to WGEA by the APSC, where if you were opted to do this, it's already going to be in place because you would have done that on registering to a report with WGEA. So in that case, those employers will not need to fill in or submit a workplace profile. If your data is not transferred by the APSC, you will need to complete a workplace profile by downloading the Excel template in the portal and populating that. Again, we have offline workplace profile sheets for which you can do your work on prior to pasting that into the live version on the portal to upload. If you are doing the entire workplace profile, need to upload that, you're looking at data provided between the 1st of April and the 31st of December 2023. So you need to select a snapshot day and take one day in that period, and you're looking at your active employees as of that day. So that means anyone active on your payroll or currently employed, no one who's resigned prior to that date. And you're looking at providing the employment details of those employees, including their remuneration data, which is the actual amounts paid in the prior 12 months leading to that snapshot day. So you can choose any day in that period to provide that data. This year, we're also, for all employers, whether you opted to do the APSC data transfer or not, you can upload a workplace profile to provide remuneration detail of your CEO or equivalent on a voluntary basis. This data is not going to be used to calculate your pay gap, which we published early next year. However, next year, in the 2024 calendar year reporting, you will be required to upload a workplace profile with your CEO or equivalent salary data, and that will be mandatory for reporters in 2024, and thus in the gender pay gap calculation released in 2025. If you would like to do the voluntary upload of the CEO remuneration this year, please get in contact with us and we will take you through that detail. On the next slide, we're continuing on with the workplace profile information. If you have a look at this slide, where you've opted to do the APSC data transfer, in the portal, when you log in and populate your confirmed details tile, when the workforce management statistics tile comes up and the workplace profile tile comes up, the workforce management statistics file will say in progress as soon as you log in. This is because questions 1 to 4 have been already transferred by the APSC to us. And the workplace profile will show completed because the APSC data has already been transferred to us and you don't need to do anything there. You can review the data of these sections by generating the workplace profile and workforce management statistic reports in the portal under those 4 tiles. Once all 4 tiles say completed and there are no data quality issues or any issues that you need to follow up with the data, you can generate those reports in the report section of the data and insights tab where you can download them. WGEA does not have access to your raw data in these reports. So if you have opted for the APSC transfer, please refer to your 31st of December 2023 remuneration survey and APSED data, or contact the workforce reporting area within your agency for assistance to obtain that data. Moving on to the next slide around finalising your submission. You complete each section, as I've mentioned, with no unresolved data quality issues. Generate your reports and download the documents. Then you have to ask your CEO or organise for your CEO or agency department head or equivalent to review and approve the documents generated from the portal. You complete the declaration and the declaration tick boxes on the submission page in the portal. However, the CEO doesn't have to actually do that because the CEO has to fill in a submission approval form, which is found in the offline documents. And once that's signed off, the reporting contact can go into the portal, complete the declarations on behalf of admit the report by clicking on the submit button.
Joe, sorry to interrupt. Your technology is just playing up a little bit. So did you want to just turn your camera off and see if it's a bit better?
Okay, thank you,
yeah.
Tori.
Thank you.
So that's all right. I'll go back to step 3, if that's okay. The CEO or agency head will have a submission approval form they need to sign off on, but the reporting contact can sign off on behalf of the CEO and do the declarations in the portal and then click submit. Once you submit, you've got 28 days to make any edits to your submission. Any edits or changes that you make in that 28-day period need to be again signed off by the CEO or agency head. And once that's done, please remember to always resubmit your report once you make any changes, because if you don't resubmit, we don't have the data. So that step's very important. Right now, I'm going to hand over to Tori again, who's going to go through some key information about your compliance requirements. Thank you, Tori.
Thank you, Joe. I just want to remind you all that the reporting submission period for this year is the 1st of September to the 31st of October, and you will be reporting on data from the 1st of January to the 31st of December 2023. And for those of you that reported with us last year, you would know that we did apply some flexibility with the reporting due dates, as it was the first year of mandatory reporting and we were working out some teething issues. However, this year we will require adherence to the reporting due dates for you to remain compliant with the Workplace Gender Equality Act. We will be offering a 4-week extension period for those who think that they might not meet the 31st of October deadline. So the maximum extension period will be the 30th of November. We will need you to apply for an extension once we open up the portal on the 1st of September. If you don't lodge your report by the 31st of October or by the 30th of November with an approved extension period, you will be non-compliant. So look, this is really a reminder for you that if you are unsure about any parts of your report, if you're having trouble with your report when the portal opens, reach out to us early, and remember to request an extension before the 31st of October. What we will be doing next week is we're going to be sending out some communication both to the CEO and reporting contacts, and we'll also send out further communications when the portal opens, and that's going to have a step-by-step guide of how to apply for an extension and some further information about extensions. So if we move on to the next slide, please. So once you have lodged your report, there are some requirements to adhere to. So you do need to share a copy of your executive summary with your governing body or equivalent, and inform employees at your workplace that the report has been lodged, and also provide access to those public reports. Within 7 days of lodging your report, you are required to let employee organisations with members in your workplace know that the submission has been lodged. And you must advise them that they may make comments on the report. So any comments relating to your report can be made directly to the employer, or they may come to WGEA. So we have a process in place where if we receive any comments about an employer's report, we will review them, and we may be in contact with the relevant employer to discuss those comments made by the employee further. We do have a chapter covering off on all of these requirements, and covering off on commenting on a report. They're all available in the reporting guide. So some information for you to help prepare for next year as well. We do have a new requirement coming into place in 2025, and this is for employers with 500 or more employees. If you fit into this category, you must have a policy and or a strategy that addresses each of the 6 gender equality indicators, also referred to as GEIs. So to demonstrate compliance, you can either have separate policies or strategies for each GEI, or you can have an overall gender equality strategy or policy that addresses all of the GEIs. It is really important to note that you can't rely on an overall APS-wide policy or strategy, and it has to be completely related to your agency. These will need to be in place by the end of 2024. And the reason being is that you will be reporting in next year's report whether or not you do have these policies or strategies in place. So I'm now going to pass back to Jo, who will go through a couple more slides about your industry benchmark report, and also some information about the gender pay gap publication. Jo, you're on mute if you're not aware.
Thank you, Tori. I'm just going to leave my camera off for the moment with that little hitch I've got there. So, as you can see on the slide, the industry benchmark report is shown there for those who have never seen it before. That's the cover page. And it's going to be available to generate and download from the portal a few months after you lodge your report, so early 2025 at this point. It compares basically your results to a comparison group of other employers in your group. You will receive an email to let you know when it's available, and you'll be able to generate and download the report within the reporting portal in the Data Insights tab. The comparison group is basically Commonwealth public sector agencies with within the same employee size range as you. So if your agency has 500 to 1,000 employees, then you're going to compare to Commonwealth public sector agencies with 500 to 1,000 employees in that industry benchmark report. The gender pay gap publishing is going to happen in early 2025 for public sector employers. Currently on our Data Explorer, it's not showing from the 2022 calendar year reporting, but you will be able to see your other employees' results there. Next year, the gender pay gap that we're going to be publishing is the median employer gender pay gap and the gender composition by pay quartile. And these will be published, as I said, in early 25 and come from your 2023 data that you're uploading this year. When you receive your executive summary on submission of your reports this year, and that will be able to be downloaded in the Data and Insights tab also, that will show your median gender gap and your composition by quartile, which gives you time in advance to know what that data is going to be published later in 2025. We also encourage employers to analyse and share the details and context of your gender pay gap in an employer statement that you can provide to us prior to the publication date. It's basically an opportunity for you as an employer to give, include any actions and give context around the gender pay gap and any actions you've taken to adjust your gender pay gap in that employer statement. We will give you the opportunity to provide that employer statement, which is usually a hyperlink to the statement on your website prior to the publication day. And in the Data Explorer, once we publish on publication day, the Data Explorer will update with your gender pay gap information, and the employer statement will also be linked there also. That finalises our webinar presentation for today, and I'm going to now hand over to Diana Labris, our Education Manager, to manage any questions that she may have had today that you require an answer for. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jo. Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Labris, Education Manager here at WGEA, and I'm just going to be facilitating the Q&A today. So thanks for sending your questions through via the Q&A button at the top of your screens. We've been getting a few of them today, and I've been responding in writing to some of those that were more straightforward. And we're going to respond to some more of them now, and we've got the whole panel of Jo, Melita and Tori here to help us with that. So please keep sending your questions through if you've got them, and we'll endeavour to get through as many as we can. And the ones that we don't get to, we'll publish answers to on the reporting guide as well. So the first question that I've got here from Reese is, and I'll just publish it now, is it possible to amend the APSC transfer data to change the gender of employees from their legal gender reported to the APSC to their preferred gender identity?
So Jordan from the APSC has got her hand up now. Is it possible for Jordan to answer?
Yeah, unmute.
There we go.
Hey everybody, I'm Jordan. So with the APSC bulk data, that's made up of the APSC, the ABSED data for 31st December 2023. So that data can't be changed. It's fixed as it is when it was published, but I would encourage anyone who would like to update gender details or anything like that to get in touch with your reporting teams that transfer the ABSED data and also the remuneration data, because we will be able to, if that data flows through to ABSED for the next reporting period, so 31st December 2024, then that can be used for the APSC bulk upload for the next reporting. And just a side note as well, that we have been able to change the gender on ABSED to someone's preferred gender if they like. We just add a little comment within ABSED to sort of provide a bit of context around that. Thanks, Tori.
Thanks so much for that. Appreciate you answering that question for us. So we've got another question here, which is based on this. Can you confirm that the average gender pay gap figure is not being reported? It's just the median gender pay gap figure. Tori, perhaps you could take that one.
Yes, so it is just the median.
sorry, very straightforward. We've got another one here from Adina, which is with the CEO data, providing REM for CEO and equivalent, voluntary data will not be used in the calculation of gender pay gaps. This will be mandatory for all reports for 2024. To clarify, is this for the reporting period 1 Jan to 31 December 2024, i.e. published in 2026? That might have been a little confusing, but I think that the gist of the question is, when's the CEO data being included in the pay gap publication?
It'll be, you need to upload a workplace profile next year with your CEO data. So it'll be based on the 2024 calendar year, and therefore the CEO data will appear the following year in the GDPG publication in early 2026.
Yes, so you had it right there, Adina. Thank you for that question. We've got another question from Natalie. Last year, the templates were available in June and it gave an excellent amount of time to prepare. Is the questionnaire going to be available in the next week? And yes, I can confirm for you that the questionnaire questions are available now via the reporting guide. And I've just shared the link a little earlier in the Q&A, but I can share it again at the end. But the questions are not hugely different to last year, so there won't be huge surprises, but the template is available in the reporting guide now, as are the other templates for WMS and WPP. There's another question from Rosalind, and she asks, for the gender equity action plans or strategies that need to be in place from next year, although that aren't being reported on, will this be in addition to a D&I strategy?
With the policies and strategies that, as part of the gender equality standards that you need to report on next year, it can be part of a D&I strategy, because the policy and a strategy can either be a standalone policy and strategy on those items, or can be part of another strategy or another policy, as long as you're using that terminology around those 6 gender equality indicators. There is at the moment some information on the website about the 6 areas in the gender equality standards, but it's yet to be updated for the public sector, I believe. So,
thanks, Jo. We've got another question here about the reporting period. So the reporting period is 1 whole year, 2023. Do we pick one date as the snapshot date for employee remuneration data submission?
Yes, you do. So if you were to choose the 30th of June 2023, you're choosing one day, which is your snapshot day within that 12-month period. So you're looking at the 12 months leading to that date. So from the 1st of July 2022 to the 30th of June 2023 to provide your actual remuneration data for those employees, what they actually earned in that 12-month period. And you're also, on that day, you're only including employees who are currently employed as of that date. No one who has resigned or been terminated prior to that date is therefore included in the workplace profile. I hope that makes sense, but if you have any other questions on that, happy to answer some more. So.
Thanks for that, Jo. We have another question here from Nat. Will the pre-populated questionnaire be available to work on prior to 1 September or only after 1 September?
Once the portal opens on the 1st September, then the pre-populated data will show in the questionnaire then. If you wanted to download your previous questionnaire from last year, you can go into the Data and Insights tab now and download the questionnaire report, which will show how you answered the questionnaire last year. But the pre-populated answers won't happen until the 1st of September when you open, when the portal opens, and you can go into your questionnaire then.
Thank you for that. We've got another question from Melissa. As a first reporter, do we know if we are eligible for the transfer, and what specific report does it excuse us from?
Yes, so Yes, so what you can do is just reach out to us, and we'll be able to have a chat with you and work out whether or not you are eligible for the data transfer. And it will, Joe, just remind me, we did just go through it, but it will excuse you from the questions 1 to 4 of the.
Yes, that's correct, Tori.
Yes.
Yeah. If
Yes.
you've opted for the data transfer, then you don't have to do questions 1 to 4 of the workforce
Yeah.
management statistics, just 5 to 7, and your workplace profile will already be completed because the data transfer from the APSC has occurred. So that's correct, yeah.
Beautiful. So yeah, just reach out via that public sector mailbox, and we'll get in touch and walk you through it.
Thanks, Tori. We've got another here from Catherine, who says she's new to the APS and recently did the Pay Gap Masterclass. So that's awesome. That's something that WGEA offers, is a masterclass on doing your gender pay gap analysis. And the question is, will I have data to complete a pay gap analysis if I've opted in for the transfer by the APSC? And I think I can answer this. You'll get access to all of your data. So you'll get the executive summary at the time that you report, and that will have the data, including your pay gap, that you'll be able to analyse. And then you'll also, as we said, get the industry benchmark report some months later, so that you can start to do that comparison with the rest of the APS. But yes, you will get access to all of the relevant data in order to be able to analyse it, as you learnt to do in the masterclass. We've got another question here relating to benchmarking, and that is, will the ANSCO major categories be used for analysis again this year? And Joe, I think you were going to answer that one.
Yeah, sure, no problem. When you opt for the APSC transfer, or you're uploading the whole workplace profile yourself as an agency, the aggregated data will show the occupational categories from the ANSCO still. I know you do a different, you're using your job mapping for the APSC, and that job mapping, when it comes across to us, is converted to the ANSCO categories. So your manager categories will be CEO, executive manager, general manager, senior manager and other manager, and then your non-manager ANSCO high level will be things like clerical and administrative, and community and personal service, labourers, etc. Those 7 options there. It depends on how you categorised your data to the APSC using the job mapping and that data they received on the 31st of December, as to what occupational categories then appear in aggregated data on your workplace profile report on when you generate those.
Thanks for that, Joe. We have another question about masterclasses that I think I can answer. Are we running more? And yes, I'm just sharing the link with you there to where you can find all of WGEA's masterclasses online via our website, and you'll be able to register online as well.
We did have a question as well, Diana, about how to do a comparison to other organisations' data to help with benchmarking. And so might pop a link in this group chat, because in the reporting guide we've got a step-by-step of actually how to do comparisons.
That's great, thank you. There's also on the reporting guide more information about what's in your industry benchmark report, as well as a recording of the webinar that we did on the industry benchmark report and where the data comes from and how you can understand and use it. So I can share the link to that one as well.